Hello people, it's me, Libloini again. We are here at Gem and Holograms Season 2. We are now late summer in the year 3 of the Ascension Wars, here in this campaign of Dominion 6. Let's see what our multiplayer game is doing tonight. I even did some stuff off screen because, just in case I forgot again, I really didn't want to lose this turn. Now let's go through all of our strange messages. First off, Faye cast End of the Rainbow. Fine, found nothing yet. We got some Fae footfall, so our, let me count, third army now, since I have a second smaller army running around right now, is now gaining our really strong fairy foot soldiers. Then the battle in Volga, but I have to disappoint you. We smashed the defense forces of Volga. And I checked the enemy walked out because in Andoria, this big stack of 200 idiots walked out and fucking killed those poor Fearbolgs and assembled infantry. They also used all their mages, and I think they even left 100 units or something back in the castle, so it doesn't immediately fall or something. Which is, I mean, it's on one hand it's annoying, on the other hand it's nice that he doesn't use all of his army at once, since I'm doing this because I want to stomp his mage stack. Then we got Gems and Sonria, thanks to a peddler getting mugged by our officials. Then in the Feral Woods we got Heat +1. Rumors of a hidden side of mystical power. A fountain of fire in his dreams. That's all very funny, but we can't get this one without having a fire mage. A fairly strong one. I don't think our level 1 fire mage is currently in action. Would be enough. Our feral woods are here. Well, why not? No pain, no gain. If level 1 is already enough, good for us. More games are always nice. Then Worldwide Event 1. Drain +1. Magic seems to be leaking from the road. What are our fellow players doing? Someone is fucking up the road, something fierce. Then there was an arena battle where AI Helheim sent in a hunger drought and defeated the scout of Mannheim. Nice try, my friend. Then T's AI attacked Helheim and defeated them in mortal combat. Is this one of those arena battles without magic? Because nope, it's one where magic is allowed, which means a level 3 death mage is probably blasting this poor one apart. Yeah, he's probably drowning him in undead. The funny thing is, he could probably win by just summoning his own shit, but he didn't, because instead he tried to defeat the undead with anti-undead spells, because he's also a priest, which in this case killed him. Yeah, with some games and scripting, this could have been going the other way. That reminds me, I have no idea if you're allowed to bring games into a battle or if they just go poof. Anyway, this means Milcom the Sauromancer in the service of an AI has won. Good for him and really embarrassing for us human players. Then there was a battle in the Silver Mark. Yeah, I saw this on Discord, it was funny. The villains basically lost because one of them got stabbed in the back by the leader, which caused a mass rout. Let's look if you can see this in action. Yeah, villains, and yep, that doesn't look good for the defenders. Oh yes, funny. Get off, you stupid birds. Still, they are really bad units and undisciplined. Yeah, low attack, low defense, low protection, low moral. No wonder they run away. And a good thing is they're stealthy units. So if you can recruit them, you can be an annoying bastard with them. Oh well, they're running away. Yeah, it was a bit too confusing to watch. So I didn't see the step that ended the battle. But I think you saw enough. Still funny, but someone else on Discord saw this and said that, yep, this guy killed one of his own with his own units. That must be funny. Hinnom lost their Black Hawks, but that was all. Where was this again? Silver mark. Oh, yes, here. You're sending a scout in to make sure he is not sending more defenses into the ensorcelled swamp. Because since his stack is now here, I am doing something really weird. Because see, since he marched in and couldn't patrol logically, he hasn't yet found this little army here, so I'm sending it right back to take over the siege of Walgard, while the main army stays here. Yeah, 130. I know it's 180. Thank you, wrong scout report. With my main magic army with its summons and fake damage spells, lands here will probably kill them all for good, even if they take losses. I could let them stay and join the battle, but they're not that strong early. I don't want to lose all my horses in some doggies in some magic battle again, since that's one of their vulnerabilities. Magic resistance is good for against our spells, but Hinnom uses pure damage spells, and so they're a bit vulnerable. Probably should move this around. I get some more blessings in before they run off. What will probably happen now, there will be a nasty surprise for the completely magic-less defenders here, and have a good chance of preventing an outbreak. My army will then try to get this here. Now let's see what happens, because of course if he starts moving again, this could be hilarious. For example, if we miss him marching into Andaria, he could instead hit our smaller army and obliterate it. And then we have to move back into Volga to keep him bottled up, and he could move out again. That could be some stupid back and forth. You know what? I'm reconsidering. If he moves further to the south or away from the fortress, I can still send a second army in to attack. Okay. That's interesting. So I can't attack the swamp as I planned, because if he marches there, he catches that army. But sitting them into Walgard will only work if he doesn't move right back, because then he has a chance of missing my army and hitting instead the other one. And that's a bit annoying. I want to avoid this stupid army, but I could do the same stupid thing again and sneak into the ensorcelled swamp, because if he follows us, can I attack the current province? Yeah, but I have no idea if our army is actually doing it, so it would be also a risky move. If he's marching right back, he will either hit my army or miss them and end up in the castle again. And we... Well, possibility on he marches back, hits my army or misses it. In one case he ends up in his castle again, and We can move again on him, or we have a decisive battle. Option 2, he stays here, we have a decisive battle. Option 3, we get him here in Andoria and have a decisive battle. Option 4, he moves further into the south, in which case no battle happens. He moves to the west. Yeah. I really want to use this army instead of just having it sneak around here. Let me think a moment. I could of course do something stupid again, like leaving a unit in the... So now we have a siege going regardless of what we decide. Yeah, we're already summoning more units here. And we got 6, not 5, so apparently either last time I miscounted, or if you have partially more paths than necessary, then sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Huh. Let's guard this guy a bit. So we should get 6 more now. And 6 more again, 12. We have either 18 or 17 next turn, and then we have what I call minimum viability. I would like another turn summoning more foot soldiers, since while they are good, they can't be made sacred, and they have not that much hit points, so if they get hit, they go down hard. Glamour. See. Well, let's do it like this right now. We have our mage here. We're recruiting more mages. 5 casters. 6 casters. 7 and 8 if I go full out. Next turn I have 9 casters. If I wait a turn I have 10 casters. That should be enough then. So I'm summoning 12 now and 12 again. And we have 30. That should be ample. Sorry. So 2 turns of summoning. This also means I have 2 turns of getting some basic units into my capital. I keep forgetting this guy, one of those guys has to stay. So I can't count him. Let's do it like this. Of course I have these guys here I haven't used right now. They are more like a really expensive border guard right now. Huh. Sadly we need some defense since we do know that Go is maybe gunning for us. And recruiting much here. Oh, So we have a main army, a smaller army, and a second main army. But yeah, probably for the best. I want the new army to have a real good punch. So I'll spend another turn getting more faithful folk to fill out the lines. And I really need to defend my capital better, so I need at least those 2 turns to get more elves for an emergency. Also, since I'm moving a big stack at mages, 2 turns gives us most of the way to construction 5 finally. And then we're switching to dramaturgy. 4 and 5 for things like group luck. And of course we're still trying to get our first global. Generation 6, what was this again? Ah yes, just in case we want to try getting a Fey Prince. Do we have something in nature? Nature 6? Well, we could get a Lamia Queen. The Lamia Queen is an ancient Lamia sorceress of great powers. Carries an overrod that will destroy the minds of those it strikes. The Lamia Queen has an amazing regenerative ability, and when killed will transform into a black sandpit and continue fighting. If she is killed a second time, however, she will remain dead. So Lamia is nature and death mage, but I can't remember how much turn. Oh, and we have the combination of death and nature anyway. And even with boosters, our strongest nature mage would be level 4. But we can get Lamias. 10 of them. Could be nice. Maybe they are, since they also can regenerate, would be kind of an interesting choice. They are probably, as magic creatures, a lot better at fending off enemy magic. Caledonian Boar. That sounds like an interesting choice. We have to work a bit to get this. Our other nature options. Gift of Reason at number 5. Gift of Reason makes one unit a commander. So this could be funny. My plan then is clear, since we have to get Thaumaturgy 5 anyway. I will patiently wait until we have Conjuration 5 is for normals, right? Yeah, the normal Lamias are at level 6. The other shit is down there in the drains. So my plan is then, if we get past Conjuration 6, that we summon Lamias, and then turn one of them into a commander to see what happens. Would be funny if they get mage paths. Thaumaturgy 7 is still far off. What could we do afterwards? Glamour. Illusory attack. That's a nice thing, especially if we want to annoy someone really good. And Shimmering Fields, which is a weapon of mass destruction against everything that's small and feeble. Aurora Borealis is a battle enchantment that stuns enemies. I have no idea how good this would be, especially since it doesn't work against mindless units. Aurora Borealis is weird. It's interesting to have a battle enchantment that's just stunning instead of killing, like most of them do. And it only works in Twilight or Darkness. At best in Darkness, worst in Twilight. So while I can set up a combo with Twilight and Nightfall, I have no idea why I should. Most of my enemies have fairly good magic resistance. If there fails many rolls of my ephemeral blasts, at least they get damaged. Fake damage, to be fair, instead of just standing there for a turn. Or maybe it gets to be an option if the enemy is attacking with really big numbers of smaller units. Because let's face it, Ephemeral Blast works good if the enemy is, let's say, has numbers of strong units that have to slowly be degraded. But after a certain time I could see this making sense. So let's see, what we need is then evocation 7 for illusory attack and 8 for Aurora Borealis. And the Celestial Rainbow... Oh wait, level 5 water? We have level 3 water, but there are boosters, different ones. And none of them are helmets, so I could get a Gossamer Wheel for 7 here. Then a ring for level 4, and one of those ropes for level 5. Yeah, that would be doable. And the Celestial Rainbow, a level 9 spell on ultra hard to get, gets us extra money, raises luck scales, and gives us a dome protection of 10% per luck scale level. This ritual creates a rainbow large enough to be seen from everywhere in the world. The mage can direct where he wants the rainbow to appear, and by doing this, huge amounts of gold can easily be collected at the base of the rainbow. While the rainbow is in place, luck will increase in all the caster's provinces. Once the luck is positive in a province, the luck of the rainbow will protect it from hostile spells. The more luck in a province, the greater chance of all hostile spells failing. That's interesting because this is Dominion 6 and the scales go now up to 5, not 3. We could not only get 50% protection permanently as long as this is running, but luck 5 would be insane. Luck scale plus 2 is, I think... Ah yes, I understand. So normally you can only have plus 2 or minus 2 in your pretender scales. So if you have box standard plus 2, then with this active, your luck scales can increase to plus 4 in each of your provinces. Plus you get a bit of money, just in case. Yeah, that would be interesting, and it needs glamour. So this means, I guess this will be our next major target. I'm pretty sure I'm actually haven't selected level 9 spell yet, but I'll see. One thing is for sure, we'll be starting forging some shit when we hit construction 5. Then our next goal is to get us some Lamias and the ability to turn units into leaders, followed by our first major goal, getting ability to cast the global that gives us more glamour gems. And then we'll try to rush down the route of evocation 9 to get this super luck spell. I mean, we already have luck everywhere, lucky 3. That's because we're lucky elves. Now I imagine we have a spell that raises this up to 5. It would be insane, not only with this immense boost to positive events, it also means that immediately we get our protection and then it keeps raising. Yeah, we also had positive magic when this started, but since we know the world has now lost 2 drain scares, so in some cases I had magic 1 and it's now dropped to drain 1, and in some cases I had magic 2 and it's now dropping to drain neutral. Can I see some skills from the enemy? No, everything too far away. Ah, this guy has some luck. Either he had lots of magic scales, or natural scales can slowly erode event scales, which I'm hoping. Otherwise everyone would probably end up with Misfortune 5 in some provinces, which suck terminally. But yeah, I think the only major decision I now have to come up with what is going on here. Okay, main army follows enemy army into Andaria to try to get them. Then what are we doing with our secondary army? The defenders go first, I think. So it could be that he's just avoiding both armies. Hmm. Huh. Yeah, well, it's mostly a diversionary army. So let's see. Oh, I could sneak into Volgard. That could be funny too. So let's do this. If he attacks, you'll only get the scout, and I see how many troops are still in Volgard and how many mages. And if it's not that many, I can still switch that one army back to full power. And our main army is trying to get these assaults. And we are upgrading and finishing our third army here. And yeah, that's all we can do for now. Scout movements, yes. Do we have scouts down here? Nope. We have this guy here. Hey, go look for enemy armies, please. There's still a lot of Hinnom down here. Can we go to the north? Nope, I think we lost some scouts here. In the water? Yeah, Kailaza and Urf. But mostly Kailaza is in the water. Well, at least it's not everything Ur here. Let's go here. That seems to be still independent provinces here. Let's look at this shit. Man, I wish I had leaders with the ability to sail. I think our other elves have. But maybe it's just another case of missing information. So let's look next turn. So that's it. Interesting turn. And we're preparing another big army. And then we have two completely separate death balls running around. So sooner or later, Hinnom's main army will be caught and destroyed. Now let's see what we can do with our tiny secondary stealth army. If I can... Well, to reiterate, at the very worst I can see what Volgard is packing, and the enemy keeps running away. Option 2, Hinnom turns back, in which case he can't hit my secondary army in the back because they're hiding. And maybe still runs face first into my main army. If the game is feeling cheeky, then next turn my army will be in Andaria, and the main enemy army will be back in Volgard. At which point I will send my main army back into Volgard, and our stealth army will attack Ras then to get those magic sites back to us. And hey, maybe no, it's too early. The capital is probably too well defended for our sneaky bitches. And hey, I keep forgetting I also set those guys to attack. If they can take us, I maybe use my stealth army somewhere else. Well, that's it yet for now. I hope I can finally catch with those assholes. One other option is they keep going south to attack Kailaza because their fort I gave up or something. In which case, of course, I walk behind him, rolling up his territory from the south. Anyway, that's all I can do this turn. Libluini out. Hello people, it's me, Libluini, and we are back with Gem and Holograms, Season 2, Dominion 6. Yeah, we are still in this, and I'm still alive, and still no backstab from one of my other neighbors, so we are still fighting Hinnom. It's now early fall in the year 3 of the Ascension Wars. Messages are wired. My one mage is still seeking new magic sites, but no luck this turn. And we got some more favor. There were also battles. Yes, as I suspected, Hinnom hasn't put up much of a province defense, and our turtle warriors managed a surprise strike. Then Volga, we marched back, and yes, we had a decisive battle, but it turns out 27 fire mages casting shit tons of damage spells, plus lightning and whatever else was mixed in, is was hard to stomach. It turns out our sacreds didn't manage to break through the block of ogres in time, and luckily for Hinnom's player, the ogres also ate a lot of the spells that were supposed to land on the mages. Sadly, I can't order my mages to concentrate on the enemy mages, because our sacreds could have dealt with the shitty ogres on their own. With attack 10, they're probably not going to hit much, and their hit points and protection are not high enough to withstand a lot of blows by our magic weapons. But still, not much killed by our magic people. Well, it's sure, Ephemeral Blast is a slow weapon. And of course, almost all of our slingers bought it again. And nothing reached our enemy lines. Let's take a look at this disaster. We need team colors and a bit more details. Yeah, as I suspected, the archers have trouble hitting shit. Now the fire spells come down. First, the fire spells land on mostly our fearbolt slingers, that's good. Problem is, of course, as you can see here, our shitload of ephemeral blasts are set to land on those ogres, while our blocks of sacreds are still far away from the enemy backline. So that's not looking good, because we are also preparing now to cast Falling Fires. And like our own ephemeral blasts, you don't need to target much with such a wide area attack weapon. Shit lands here, but mostly misses, and then shit lands on us instead. Yeah, it looks like we did some extremely minor damage. But the problem seems to be that the ogres are still a bit too too far away from our mages. And of course, by now we've summoned an illusory army. Illusions are always funny. If you hit them, they instantly die, since they only have one hit points being illusioned and all. But if they manage to hit you, then they're only doing 1 damage. And it's false damage, which means if mages disappeared, that was it. On the other hand, they're mostly immune against what's the word? Oh god, I'm so bad sometimes. Poison. Yikes. They of course have spirit sides, being all spirity and all. You'll die for real soon. So those units are mostly to clog up the battlefield, since it's tiresome to stab those guys all along. And while they're not doing much damage, since it's magic damage, it's hard to get resisted. It's armor negating damage. so protection does nothing. Magic resistance can of course negate an attack. So it's not much, but since they are not that big, you can see you can have up to 3 per square. Well, that's a potential number of a lot of attacks, especially if they surround someone. It's not enough on their own, but I had hoped that maybe, but others, they're a bit squishy against combat magic. And yeah, that's of course typical Dominion style text here. Oh, finally! But as you just saw, most of the ogres were damaged and killed by their own combat magic, and our ephemeral blast then just took out some of the survivors. I mean, ephemeral blast does not do much damage, but if 2 hit points is all that is left, then it's no wonder that that worked out so well. And that's also important to note. If the damage numbers look, the hit point numbers look funky, and it's because they have taken false damage and normal damage in any combination. This becomes important in the event that all of my mages die or have left the battlefield, because then false damage is negated. As long as at least one is there, that false damage ticking up can kill someone. Like this other guy, who was the guy who had 2 left? Oh wow, one of ours has gotten damaged too. You look here, they have 6 hit points, but I've taken 4 false damage from an ephemeral blast. So as long as my mages are there, they have 2 hit points. If they manage to hold on without getting hit, then they will get 6. Up to 6 when all my mages are gone. But others, I think he just died because my sacreds are still there. Now my illusions are there and more mage spells land. But considering that so many of my units have either fled or died, yep, there's a route soon. Now we are finally getting to the archers. But some of, yeah, that will give us the rest. That basically annihilated all resistance we had, so our ephemeral blast works best against huge blocks of units, getting trapped by our huge blocks of units, but the enemy has combat magic of their own. We have to think a bit smarter. What is solid block of very vulnerable mages, sadly, can't be reached anymore. And by now, all of the mages and leaders have fled. The only thing left are some running units and illusions like this ghost wolf. Wolf illusions. Yeah. Moral broken because there aren't any mages commanding them. Yep, there was a clear victory for Hinnom. Now we could bash our head against them each time, taking a chunk out of their units. But since most of those units by now are ogres, which you only get by summoning them, you get 5+ for 7 gems, but since you only need Earth 1, and since theoretically he could only use Earth 2 mages, that's at least 6 per summoning spell. So let's take an average of level 2 per cast. He could have higher, he could have used lower. So that means 8 casts, if I'm right. Yeah, 8 casts. That means 7. Yeah, must have been an average of 56 Earth games we obliterated. Of course, we also lost 30 QC earlier, and well, that's only something like 15 glamour games. Well, there's also the monetary value in all those sacreds and slingers he destroyed. So overall, I would say we got hit a bit harder here, especially since not a single mage died. And while all of our mages made it safely back, I have to report that for some reason apparently not a single one died, which is lucky. There is nothing about mages getting killed here. Yeah, no, a single unit got died. And several deserted. I think 3. Yeah, we got ridiculously lucky with our retreat, probably because so many of the provinces around Valgard are held by our own nation. So it was kind of hard for them to hit something that was an enemy province, which would instantly kill them. But still, we can't really hope that all of those battles will go this way. And if we talk numbers, our 2 other sorceresses plus the She-Lords, that's 11, plus the Baobanshees are 22. The She-Champions are too weak to count in battle. That's 22 against 27 casters. And while I really like our silly ephemeral blasts, it's no fouling fires, that's for sure. So we have 1 or 2 turns to do something, which we of course spent casting Twilight and powering up our mages. And they do the same, and then they cast Hellfires on our armies, and well, we can kill numbers of theirs too, not enough. And as you've seen, our units aren't fast enough. So we have to think. There was also a worldwide event. Death +2 and disease for units. Great, a silver sarcophagus has been found and someone was stupid enough to open it. So not only has the world sprung a leak, which spills magic out into the ether, now it's also that the world is dying. So while we are fighting Hinnom here, it seems the world is getting hit by one bad event after another. Then we'll try to find out what's going on in our capital. And luckily it didn't stay for long, since our province defense auto rolls them out. A battle affliction was cured. That's kind of funny. So things are heating up. We are still about 1 turn away before we have unlocked the next level of magic items, so I can start forging shit. Thaumaturgy 5. That's on a glamour. Yeah, that will take a while. Conjuration 6 will take a while. Yeah, there isn't really nothing we can do to change things for now. Illusory attack is planned for the future, and shimmering fields. Yeah, that would be interesting, but the range is too close. Ephemeral Blast has far better range, but as you have seen, since our mages tend to shoot at whatever they see first, they wasted their blast on those poor ogres, which, to be fair, were weak enough to actually take damage from them. But as we've also seen, their own mages were far more dangerous than ours to the poor ogres. Alteration. We could of course add some more buffing spells, but it only helps us in battles where the enemy has only a couple mages, not 27 all at once. And our illusions likewise only help us swamping an enemy that's already taxed trying to get through our bullshit. So I may have to do something about all this shit. Group luck, that would be funny. but area of effect 3 is not much. It would get better at what's not a mass confusion, battle fortune. That's a combat spell that's 20 plus. Yeah, that's good. That gives a lot of units luck. And luck is a really nice status effect that gives the unit a 75% chance of escaping an otherwise deadly blow or spell. So every unit that gets hit by a super massive destruction spell has a really high chance of just no-selling it at least one time. Doesn't really work for walking statues and undead, but well, we don't have either of those. But again, for those buffing spells to take effect, we need to survive. And for that, we would need instead some other spells. Let's take it from here. We also have nature. Yeah, not so good. We are planning to upgrade to Taumaturgy, and if we get to 7, yeah, none of this looks good on the battlefield. Enchantment has of course stuff like regeneration and foul vapors. That is something our pretender could cast. It basically covers the entire battlefield in poison clouds and slowly kills everyone. Then there is relief to make everyone recover faster from fatigue. Mass regeneration and Serpent's Blessing eventually, which gives everyone slightly more poison resistance. Where I can do some really shitty combos like cast Serpent's Blessing to protect yourself, then cast Foul Vapors to kill the enemy faster than your own. Problem of course again, this is not working if the enemy has 27 combat mages artillerying your onside to death. I should know because I've tried this shit myself a lot of times. But let me tell you, getting hit by foul vapors isn't nice, but if your mages have already started raining death, then you may end up destroying large parts of the enemy forces anyway before all your mages die. And anyway, it's far too long and complicated for now. There's really not much what we can do here. It's just the quality of its own if you have that amount of damage spells. Then we have Storm of Thorns, nice range, but it only hits one person with 10 plus effects to be fair. And it holds that person where it is, but I'd rather have my Ephemeral Blast since we have more Glamour mages of the necessary strength than Nature mages. We have tons of Glamour 2 and higher, but not so much Nature 2 and higher. So our strength is mostly in having strong infantry, the capability of getting more units summoned fast, and our buffing and outlasting spells, let's call it this. Mostly our army works best if they can nail the enemy down and then let our own mages slowly disintegrate the enemy while our sacreds just evade getting hit over and over again. But as you've seen, against concentrated combat magic, that doesn't work so well. So we have something left to do, of course. Let's go back to our forest, where we now have summoned 12 units all at once, we have 18. Really good units, but poison resistance just means we are safe against foul vapors. Curiously enough, if I aim for this, we have basically a lot of units, our horse and riders too, that have inbuilt resistance. Not all of our units, but if we have lots and lots of those elf units, we can simply shoot them out, and then things will get nasty for the enemy, since you can imagine how this goes if the entire battlefield is poison clouds, but magic poison clouds that do not enough damage to get through poison resistance 10, while the enemy doesn't have them, or maybe 5 if they're using the protection spell. So if it's only our Fey units, they would get 0 damage. Of course, our mages would have to protect themselves first, that's clear. Still, that's all nice for the future. Now, since just one of our armies has been blasted apart, we need more units. And yeah, getting those Fey horses on the ground, if they're fast enough, they might be able to fight until they reach the enemy mages, and then even if they all die, which would be immensely painful, they would cause the enemy to rain down death on their own position, which would solve the problem already. But well, no, not a good idea, so we'll do something else instead. On the nature side of things, there's of course the Vine Ogress. Strong but highly flammable, and you only got 3 of them. So while it's nice that they're not costing a lot, they're locked down 1 mage for 1 turn. Yeah, that's... Then there are the wooden constructions, which are even beefier, and you get 4 of them, and they are constructs. They are still really good for sieges, and since, well, do we have another level 3? Nope, and we are still 1 turn away from getting boosters. So since I've learned that Glamour 4 is already enough to get an extra unit from the Fey Footfall spell, I will now instead give us some Crusher constructions. So we use our stash of nature gems a little more. And then I'm getting a final cast of Fey Footfall. 6 more please. And then we're done. We could also get some doggies if we wanted to. The Kushi. But I'm not risking this for now. Maybe if we are fighting someone who is more oriented into other directions. So and of course we need time to reach enemy lines. As we've seen, if the battlefield is full enough of magic and units, that might not so work out so well as planned. Now we are down some money here. Nope, we need sacreds faster now. You already have 1, 2... Yeah, okay. He must be working together with the other combat mages. But 2 priests is something like 50 sacreds on the battlefield. And we still have not as many. Let's reinforce this army a bit higher. So, and the next step, lump of weirdos then goes to the other side. Well, we need those 2. So next turn I can get a combat army ready to rumble. So for now we have to do some retreating here. My red folk have to go into the underground. Hopefully he forgets that I can do this, because this means we can I raise the defense at least 1? Yes, 1. Ha! So that's enough to defeat a single scout, but not much more. So I go back here, and then I think, well, that's everything a bit too strong defended here. But the swarm seems to be a weak target, and his army is too slow to get there in time if I attack. And all those other assholes, of course, have to retreat into our fortress. If I just let them stay around, they would be dead alone as they are. And I can, of course, get this guy and... whoop. Some units have survived. This stack of mages is only part of our survivors. Some have already arrived here. For now I'm putting them to research. Funnily enough, since the battle didn't last long, my super mages still have gems enough to cast Twilight multiple times and illusion. And these nasty illusion armies, since it only costs a single gem or two if you need to overcast because you're under level. Which I promise will become important soon. Let's get those mage stacks back here. No mage survivors everywhere. Oh yeah, of course, and this fire mage has arrived and can now search for magic sites just in case. Overlooked ship. And we got finally the Song of Birds back, which means we now have +8. Oh yeah, fuck, because it's also lost another again. The Gorge of Echoes. So we lost the Gorge of Echoes, but we got the Song of Birds back, so we are still at +8 glamour gems per turn. So let's get all our stupid mages together here. And of course we have still this hidden army here. I wish I could attack now. But these stupid units here are sorely needed in the Feral Woods. Because I need at least some stupid motherfuckers to eat spells if I want to risk another battle. And at least the doggies have maybe enough speed to get in there and snap at some of the... Sneak and attack. Yeah, that's funny. Attack what? You guys, the Dominions here. Yeah, I can either sneak or sneak and attack. I don't want to risk an altercation. I know time means it's there before everyone else is, but let's be careful this time. Don't want to lose this batch of units now. So possibly what he is doing now is either he's retaking Grass now, or trying to lay siege to Feral Woods. And yeah, okay, you can stay here. You're completely useless for now. But take letters for later, please. Fuck. That's of course something I haven't thought about. Okay, then let's do something different. Fuck. The Brockland is really in a bad position here. Ralph? Nine. Okay, we haven't done those provinces. That's our capital. Well, maybe we're lucky and find something here. Well, it looks like I can't use the Griffins. The Griffins alone could be fast enough to reach over there. But then I would have to leave literally everything here. And since all of our mages can just sleepwalk out, including most of the units I'm sending in here. That's not really threatening to me here. Well, at least we have for now some more research. Ha! Is any recruiting going on here? Nope. It's still two battling here, at least. Oh yeah, Andoria's income could have been useful. So let's get our own mages here. And now we have to think smarter. So the first spell is personal luck. That still makes sense. Casting time is 100%, since the level 2 fire mages have to first power themselves off with... yeah, that's a good question. Whoops. And wanted to go to our fire mage. And it's probably for the best I select here, because my bad eyesight will just otherwise mean that I keep scrolling past her. Phoenix power takes 100% casting time, so 1 turn. So that's good. So first off, our assassin would make herself lucky, so that she doesn't immediately die if a fire spell lands on her. And the fire mage would either power themselves up or fire off a fire spell that may or may not hit her. Is there something? Fireballs, yeah, because I have of course no idea what exactly an assassinated fire mage would do. Fireball is, yeah, 75% is faster, but the fireballs have to travel. Fire darts, again same problem, and they can easily miss. Flame balls, now that's some range, but still it's a projectile that can miss. Fire elementals, now that could be funny, but of course you would have to first know what I'm doing, and then you would need a lot of fire gems just to make sure that his mages aren't getting a visit by the Death Fairy. So at least for now that's not a concern. Earth, of course, could be a concern. Do we have an Earth Mage to check real fast what could be expected? Of course not here, but in the Broken Land we have Earth and Air, so we can check real fast without me having to list all the evocation nonsense. So yeah, of course, elementals could combat our assassin, but of course this means they would have to carry gems and a lot. Otherwise, I mean, that's the drawback of 27 mages. If you don't want that most of the ones without any gems are getting assassinated, you need to give gems to all of them. Inscript them to summon shit, and of course they would then actually summon shit where a couple assassinations, even if they are unsuccessful, would start bleeding a lot of gems off. So the less obvious shit, of course, is stuff like Lightning Bolt. Alteration, Evocation. Here it is, Lightning Bolt. Shockwave, of course, is short range, which of course is good for assassinations, since you want to hit an attacking assassin head on. Lightning Bolt, it's even more dangerous because of its high range and because it hits immediately. That could be a problem. Of course, if even any other spell is cast, we may still be lucky. And luckily there aren't that many lightning spells. Blade Wind. also a problem since there are so many of those fuckers. And iron attack, which means it's extra nasty for our elf mages. But again, to get that far, power up is necessary. And it looks like the greatest danger to our assassin plan is actually only the good old lightning bolt. But as I've learned, mages really love casting anything except attack spells, especially if their script isn't triggering. And in a simple assassination mage against mage, who knows? You may be shit out of luck, however, because if we do this, oh god, my English is going down, and probably because it's already half past midnight here. Let's think, what did I want to say? Yeah, so I keep forgetting what I want to say. Okay, let's try to take this up again. So air mages. Air mages have the only spell that could hit and kill our assassin mages before she can do anything. Everything else depends on first powering up, and this is mostly countered by personal luck. Then the next spell in line would have to be Illusory Army to fill the battlefield with tons of stupid fake soldiers, and then this has to be done again. Then of course they can, if they're still alive by then, do something else. Anything else I could do? An ephemeral bolt. Well, it does not do much damage. And it's a projectile, so... yeah, I think that's the best we can do. Despair. It forgives moral penalty. Well, why not? But I don't really think that our mage gets this far. Either the enemy dies at this point, or it's all over anyway. So let's carefully give out some gems. 4 should be enough. Yep. Of course, you're probably really sleepy since Illusory Army gives fatigue cost of 100, and that's after being overcast. 1 gem isn't enough since she only has level 2 instead of level 3. Overcast with twice the amount of gems would means the full fatigue hits her, but yeah, she is at 120 fatigue after 2 turns, and then it will take her some time to slowly recover. The battle is after that basically over. The only thing I can hope is that she manages to get another Illusory Army up, and after that she is far too sleepy to do anything. So let's take her into the back. So this is what I call assassination by mass murder. Just flooding the entire battlefield with possible targets. And each of them, of course, do only 1 damage, but since they are mindless magic creatures, they won't run away. And if something happens and the enemy mage can't kill them all until they reach his own position, he will of course quite be willing to hit himself with super spells. And hey, if I manage to take out some of the earth and air mages, or the mixed mages, that would be nice too, but optimally this should work best against the fire mages, because yeah, exactly, fire. You can still look this up. Fire. Fire. As a reminder, if they're using fire phoenix power, that means, yep, 20 and plus about 20 again. It's a good spell, but it means they have a limited time casting it, because if they don't hit all of the illusions, then they reach the sleepy phase pretty damn fast. 20, then 40, my mage survives. 60, he hits illusion. 80, he kills more illusions. Then it already getting close, since the casting time differences means that I might be lucky and another lump of illusions show up, and then he may be out of time, and that's the worst case scenario. Of course, this being Dominion 6, there's a lot of dumb bullshit that can sway a battle in both directions, but that's why I haven't used the assassin tactic for now, but not until now. I would really assassinate normal commanders who can only stab instead of send death mage spells, but alas, our problem are mages, not the other way around. So let's see what I have scripted so far. Yeah, so the assassin script is now 7 on my list. Yeah, it worked. Now I'm giving it to my other assassins. I have 3. Only 3. Ah yes, the others are in different stacks. Each of them gets exactly enough gems for one good assassination and not more. Because as I said, even if they manage to get a second spell off, I'm pretty sure the battle will be over, because anything that can destroy 40 illusions will probably kill the mage too, which is a shame because they have really good attack skill and they attack by life drain, which I think heals them again. It doesn't really take it states here, but life drain is yeah, it heals them. And it heals fatigue points too. Well, since it's only length 0, so it only works ironically in close combat. So that is wave 1. We now have 3 assassins, and my plan is now to sneak them in and then have them assassinate as many commanders as they can. Those guys go down in the water to try to get the swamp next. And then it depends on what this asshole is doing. My next plan involves having my second magic army march in and using the griffins to do a sudden death strike into the background on turn 1, trying to kill as many of the enemy mages possible with high attack skills and high, well, light lance means at least they get a charge bonus. After that they are on a timer because they are probably getting attacked by all the enemy archers after turn 1. But as long as they are there and killing some mages, I'm satisfied. Too bad I can only recruit one of these guys per turn. Enemy archers would probably work too, but this can be countered by just putting archers somewhere else, and I'm thinking that at some point our enemy will probably want to do this. Well, that's it for now. Some mages are in research mode for now. Our survivors are limping back into the castle. And we're putting our first batch of assassins into range. And then there is another batch. It probably sent, yeah, 6 or 7, maybe 7, a full 10. That's why we have them after all. Now let's see how lucky we get. If it doesn't work, I will have to think about something else. But if we can just reduce this ridiculously huge stack of combat mages by 10 or something, we'll probably have altered the balance of power enough to just squish them with our next army. And that's it for now. We have to really speed this up, because since Ur is already poking us, it's probably start getting real soon. Kailasa, of course, is our ally, but as you can see, there is still a lot of Hinnom territory in the south. And they have a castle again, or already had it. They're building more castles, so they're not completely dead as I've assumed. There's probably even more shit down there. Yeah, and soon there is Arco. So most of the fighting will be left to us. And of course he's summoning ogres again to supplement his forces. Well, I can't complain, since I'm also summoning stupid shit to make my own armies bigger. I have to take a look, of course, on my gem stash. Probably getting to the point where it's more useful to instead summon nature shit. But I really need some boosters so I can have more than 1 or 2 mages with nature 3, since all the good shit needs at least 3 levels in nature. 3 levels in anything really. Yeah, we're now a little bit faster since I've added some more mages to our research queue. So next turn we have construction 5 unlocked, and then we are going down the Taumaturgy route. Evocation 678. What was this again? Glamour probably. Yeah, of course, because I wanted shimmering fields and maybe Aurora Borealis and then the Celestial Rainbow. Could probably a good idea to change course to... What was again? Nature. Alteration? Fuck, I keep going into the wrong direction. Serpent's Blessing and Foul Vapors is enchantment. Foul Vapors needs level 1 water, level 4 nature. Okay, I'm saying this is low priority for now because we need to do some really careful boostering so our pretender can even use foul vapors, and she also needs to cast the corresponding protection spell first for our non-Fey units, or someone else has. And maybe this gets too convoluted, who knows. It's probably the next research goal after we run all the way to this one level 9 evocation spell that I want to get. But that's it for now. We are now trying to combine our surviving forces together, and we are really lucky that all of our mages survived. Too bad I don't have any attack spells, the rituals right now that I could use. That's still in the future. Yeah, not much to do here right now. I need my gaps for other shit. So let's do it like this for now. And see if I can get all my assassins in position. If he of course lays siege to us, then I will send all 7 girls as assassins against him, and will of course try to destroy any newly recruited leaders in Valgard. After our next turn, our army will begin marching eastward and combine forces with my Griffin Riders, and anything that systematically destroys as many mages as I can get would be the end of Hinnom. So, that's it. That's all I can think of for now. Libluini out.